Attention, attention, attention. Let's start the meeting. May 21st, active planning board, take a minute to read the minutes, I'll entertain a motion.
Sorry.
What are you, speed reader?
She gets an email to her. She reads it.
Is there something?
I'm gonna read.
Talk to the state, Mark Stevens is a really big guy. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
I'll second it.
I didn't go and check with him when I came with him and see how much crap I took for that.
We have to get the selectmen to get us in an Evelyn Wood class. Speed reading. Or Dale Carnegie. Whichever, suits your pleasure. You people know, you guys have all heard of Dale Carnegie courses, right? Yeah, you're all old enough, come on.
You're dating yourself, Jim.
Evelyn Wood, you heard of Evelyn Wood too, right?
It's been ready.
Some of you, not this guy at the end though. All right, we're all set, any changes or corrections?
You just want to add that part of
The time that we started the,
the discussion.
it was after 8 o'clock that we started the discussion for
The referendum.
other. All right? Anything else?
Just got a quick question.
Yes.
Did we ever get any feedback back from Jennifer Rue pertaining to the ability of the town clerk to express the votes that were taken on the proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance?
I think,
I don't know what she said.
I didn't hear anything. Well, did I or not? I forget, it was 2 weeks ago. It was a week.
I think it can't be,
Oh, she said, yeah, nothing. Nothing can be put on there other than what's on the official ballot.
Well, we all knew that, but could it be conveyed to the voter in the foyer?
No.
Be sure of that.
Yep.
I mean, that was her decision.
Yeah, nothing. Well, it's hers and the selectmen.
Okay. Enough said.
Anything else? All right, then all's in favor, aye?
Aye.
All those opposed, nay? These are done. Today's the what? 4?
May 4th.
Oh, super. All right. Thomas Harmon, PE, POS, Civil Consultants. Conditional use application for mineral extraction, lot, map 207, lot 1 on the H Road. Come on up. Although, I thought we wanted to have a chance to look this stuff over.
Yeah, they just dropped it off. Wanted to know if you wanted to come in tonight. I said, you can, just be short and sweet. The board wants to set a time to go up and take a look at it.
Yeah. You guys are familiar with our zoning book here about mineral extraction?
Yep.
I think this should
I
be
believe I am.
the third one you've done anyways, I think.
I'm in first place currently.
All right, so you've included everything,
I believe we have.
all right.
Normally what we do is we have a checklist, we make up the response to each item.
All right. For the audience, why don't you give us a quick 1-minute overview?
Essentially what we have is a piece of property that's about 183 acres, and we're talking about doing excavation on approximately 35 acres. There is a portion of the property that, about 10 acres, has previously been mined starting back in the 80s. I think ran some through the 90s. This project came in as a subdivision back in 2007. 12 or 13 lots were cut off of the property. And what we're talking about excavating on is the balance of the property. There's one large piece left, so we're talking about excavating on that. The people that we're working for have a agreement to do the mining, and a purchase and sales agreement to buy the property. And so basically what we have provided is a grading plan. We have preliminary groundwater elevations of approximately 586. We're talking excavating at 591. That will depend on final readings on the wells. They do have a permit from the state of Maine, from DEP, for a medium-sized gravel pit, which means they can mine 10 acres at a time. They can't have any more open than 10 acres. And when they do that, they have to have a well, monitoring well every 5 acres that shows what the groundwater table is. They need to stay 5 feet above the groundwater table. So essentially what you do is work your way through the site. On the plan, we're showing grading to 591, as I said. We're showing the setbacks, we're showing the side slopes that will be completed. I have a plan here that is a scale of 1 inch equals 150 feet because it fits on a plan. We've got another plan, a larger scale plan that I can leave with you that's an 1 inch equals 100 scale. A little bit easier to see. The 150 you can see pretty easily. There is a bunch of reclamation work that needs to be done coming onto the site. Approximately 1,400 feet from H Road will need to be reclaimed. It isn't as wide as this, it's a fairly narrow strip. Some of the excavation was inside the setback limits you currently have, so that will need to be reclaimed. There is a current entrance into this pit area here on H Road. Site distance is pretty tough. Looking to the west, that entrance will be moved up the street where we have quite a bit better site distance. We're over 550 feet. The west, looking to the west, we're quite a bit better than that going east. They will be constructing a gravel road through the site, like I said, about 1,400 feet when we get to the area where we will be excavating. Excavation on the site will probably range from 7 or 8 foot depths to someplace around 25 to 30 feet in some of the higher bankings. The intent, of course, is 10 acres open, reclaim it, and when they're done, they'll have a reclaimed site. We've gone through your ordinance. We have a bunch of notes on this plan indicating how it'll be done, what the reclamation is planned for, how you fuel your vehicles on site, what your side slopes are. The fact that they would like to be able to run a crusher in there all the time, I said that wrong, okay? All months with the exception of June, July, and August, all right? Those months, they would not run. They don't anticipate running the crusher very much. There's not that much stone to crush on this site, but you will end up with some. So rather than hauling it off the stone, they like to be able to bring the crusher in and crush it. Basically, that's it. Other than that, I'd like to get going as soon as possible because construction season is going along, so. Anything else, Charlie?
No. That's about it.
One thing I did neglect to give you when I dropped it off the other day, Ken, was I didn't leave a check for the application fee. I'm surprised I haven't heard about that already, so.
We knew you'd be coming back.
So what we'd like now, is to have you move along with the process. I understand we'll probably have a site walk, public hearing.
Well, public hearing for sure, and a site walk if,
I would like to.
Yeah.
all right, and then we will have a site walk. No. How much time, how much time do we need notification for a site walk offhand?
If it's an extra, is it an extra meeting?
Well, yeah, it's gonna be a quorum out there, so yeah. 10 days, 14?
10 days.
10 days?
We have one next Thursday's a site walk, where we're looking at 2 sites.
Yeah.
Following Thursday's a meeting night, whether you want to do it before the meeting or after, or the 25th. It just is lined Thursdays up.
Yeah. I don't care, we could, you know, unless you guys wanna do it on a weekend or something sometime.
Is the 25th work, folks?
It's fine with me.
Before Thursday.
Fourth Thursday.
What would be a good time for you guys?
Pretty much anytime.
How about
Could
you?
we do this 7 or 6:30?
How about shooting for 6:30? Yeah,
Is that
quarter to
AM?
7.
AM?
Yeah, no. Or the mosquito time, we'll be out there with the mosquitoes. 7 better for you?
It is, but
Likewise.
All right, let's shoot for 7 o'clock on the, whatever the date is, 25th of June. We'll meet up there. It's on the H Road right before you hit Moose Pond. If you go down the hill to Moose Pond, you've gone too far. You can see the drive.
I'll be here till 1:15 if anybody wants to meet here, and we follow up that one.
Yeah. Got a quick question for Tom. Is the purchase and sale agreement contingent upon your approval from the Acton board?
I would assume so, yes. Purchase and sales even come, they have an agreement to mine without actually purchasing it.
Yeah.
The purchase and sale goes along with that they can purchase it as they like it.
And the situation now with you folks and Charlie is such that some of that reclamation work is ongoing now?
They have started, I don't think you've gotten very far, have you, Charlie, with your
No,
reclamation?
we're gonna start Monday, with the equipment, actually.
Are you gonna close up the old entrance or just keep it gated and use the new one?
I was gonna close the old one, either by leaving the gate there, or maybe just putting a tree down.
Yeah, all right.
My question was, I have some land clearing to do for the new road, and I don't know if I was gonna be able to get that done before we actually had a town meeting.
I don't think so.
Well, you
Well-
might be able to do the clearing, but as to making the actual egress, you know, I mean.
Right.
I think that has to go in front of the appropriate road commissioner. There has to be some thought given to that.
So we can use the old access to do it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And if you wanna clear some brush or trees from where the new one's gonna be, I've got no problem with that, but
Okay.
as far as scraping for a road and then opening onto the H road, we'll have to wait until we get into this process.
Sure.
Anybody have anything else?
And did you guys bring us a couple of amended drawings of this?
I'm sorry.
Real
Did you guys bring
nice.
us a few more of these?
We have large scale, I sent 4 large scale, and then they put a small one in
Yeah,
each book.
yeah.
So there are 4 large ones. I can leave a couple more big ones if you want.
Have you got the wells map of this?
We have one now. This is what I was saying about, this is just a little That's a hundred scale plan. And
And this is amended since you came to us the first.
Right, this is basically what we consider a final plan.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Pending your comment.
Are you seeking any waivers on this?
Nothing on the way.
That's a good thing.
All right, so we'll see you guys the 25th of June, 7 o'clock, up at the site.
So you won't be going through this application again as a board?
Until after the
Sidewalk.
The sidewalk?
No.
Okay, so we've got another month
Yep,
before we come back, yeah.
we work very slow during the summer. It's the heat, you know?
So then what we do is have that, probably Friday or complete, and from that point, set your public hearing?
don't ask me.
Yeah,
We would have a meeting the following week, right, the first week in,
I suppose, well,
That'd be the 3rd of July, which is the night before the 4th, so.
Well, the hearing would precede consideration
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, do we want to set a date for that yet, or
of
do you want to wait for the public hearing?
July 2nd is the first Thursday.
That's right, 4th on Saturday.
Yeah.
Well,
That'll contradict your good math, you were pretty quick with it. Without a slide rule.
well, I don't know if you guys want to look at this on your own first, or as we progress through the meeting, and then pick a public hearing date later on, or wait for the next meeting to pick it, or pick it tonight. He was thinking the 2nd of July.
Yeah, well, this is the third extractive industry permit that Civil Consultants has done in town. I think he's gonna hit mostly everything on the first set of plans now. He's got everything pretty well covered. It's all gonna come down to reclaiming, really. What it comes down to is how the town's gonna secure that. That's always gonna be the hardest thing. But I would imagine the application's gonna be complete. The drawings are fairly complete. The site work's gonna be simple enough.
Yeah.
And just, like I said, they would like. to
Oh, yeah.
know,
Yeah,
just,
sure.
You know, 3 weeks out to the sidewalk is quite a while, and so then we'd probably, it sounds like we're looking at the end of July before they, I think they were hoping a little bit quicker than that.
We all are.
It's the heat though, you know. Well, let's set a public hearing for the 2nd of July. 7 o'clock here. And we'll see how that goes. And then we've got all kinds of time for notification for that. We've got the abutters list, so we're all set with that. We'll have the application fee.
I can do that tonight if you want to do that.
Well, there again, we haven't really, we haven't really started accepting this yet.
I'll send you an email.
Yeah, we'll go with that. All right?
Let's-
So we'll see the 25th up there, and we'll see you the 2nd of July here.
Yeah. Okay.
Terrific.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good evening.
Thank you, too.
Thomas and Elizabeth Garner, 177 Flat Ground Road, applying to replace the fire dam. What's the deal?
Resource protection.
Oh, thanks.
We got one map.
When was the fire?
Just,
3 weeks ago, maybe?
yeah,
Two at the most.
yeah, just a couple. They're not here? No.
No.
But you're shaking your head, you were probably there putting it out, eh?
I was the first broke in, well, second broke in. Flat ground roll, just before dinner.
So what's their,
Resource protection, so it's best possible location, gravel pad where it is now.
just a gravel pad? They want to use the same septic, they're not gonna replace that?
Correct, yeah, it's not very good with the unit. The setup, it was a used trailer that was in there, yeah, but the septic was on there 8 years ago or so.
Your recommendation, how close are they? 111 feet?
To the road?
Oh, yeah, sorry, the road.
Yeah, so it's all RP is what they're in.
I mean, they're way, where the hell is the water?
The river's quite a ways away.
So you're thinking on the same spot?
Yeah.
Is that what they want to do?
Utilities come up in that area and stuff, so.
Sounds like a plan.
What is all this color in this little thing?
Green is poor soils, forested wetland, brown is the buffer. I think the buffer goes right out to the road on that one. So the whole site is resource protection.
500-foot buffer?
What?
That's not right. The buffer should be 500 feet.
Should be 250.
Yeah. What am I looking at there? Oh, I'm just looking, there's a lot of 500s here, that's all.
Yeah, that's,
That's the size of the lot, there's a lot.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Pass that around.
so Kenny's recommendation is run in the same spot. There'll be at least- And are they gonna throw concrete on it or just use the same gravel
I
pad?
think gravel pad.
It's good enough?
But it needs some state standard.
Is it a seasonal or?
No,
No, year round. I mean, they live there. They were living there. How do they tie those down on gravel?
There's a screw auger that goes down through the earth and up and over, like you see the people tie their dogs up to, the things that you screw in the ground.
And then chains or some kind of cable?
Cable, aviation cable straps up and over and down.
Really? No shit. Oh, oops.
What's the blue?
100-year flood zone. I should have done a further one out, but
Yeah, maybe we could have made it a little more obtuse, but thanks anyway. Jeez. Did the selectmen waive the fee yet or no?
I haven't been there yet. They usually will for somebody without insurance.
Ken's recommendation is to put it right in the same spot. Do we have a motion maybe?
I move we accept Ken's recommendation.
Is there a second? Any further discussion?
What about, is there any other like vegetation around there or anything else?
Yeah, it's all forested,
All forested.
except for the general area of the driveway going in and where the unit was.
They'll be able to get a new trailer in without tearing things up too much?
Manufactured home, yeah.
Oh, yeah, oh, they'll have to bleep that too.
Down the road.
Hey, there you go.
It's a houseboat.
Oh, it's too thin right there, the road will never make it through. Any other concerns, questions, comments? All right then, wait a minute. Artie's not here, and neither is Junior, so everybody gets to vote. So, all those in favor, aye? All those opposed, nay? It's a done deal. Another happy camper. David Cabana, 918 West Shore Drive, map 124, lot 24, apply to replace an existing pump house with a shed. Woo, nice.
We get this guy back in. This is-
Have we seen this before?
I thought we did, I couldn't pull the minutes out though to come up with a date. He's never gone through with it, it's been a couple of years, so.
It looks like a new boat almost. I think this is a different.
Looks like the town's old outhouse that was back behind the town hall. It's pretty big, it's pretty spacious. He wants to replace it right on the same spot?
The only reason I didn't look at relocating is because of the pump and the wells.
Is right there, yeah.
To this thing.
Now, what are the new dimensions?
He'd get that plus 30%.
You're supposed to be on the sideline.
Wait a
Can't,
minute, he's gonna expand it?
oh, I would assume so, 30% of not much is not much, so. He wouldn't be able to expand it towards the water, and one side he couldn't either, so. It's pretty limited what he can do.
Can you expand it, an accessory building?
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever.
I don't know. Usually we knock down accessory buildings to expand the house.
Exactly.
Where's the septic in this place?
Back up into the driveway area.
Is the use changing at all? Will it become a bunkhouse slash?
No.
You got a few bunk houses.
It's already got water and electricity.
They don't like it.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Bob, here's the.
Something could be iffy. Yes. What's it on now? Piers, pieces of wood?
Stumps and rocks.
And what's it gonna be on?
Stumps and rocks.
All same thing?
No, they'll put blocks down and stuff.
But no
No
foundation?
foundation, pre-manufactured shed put right in top on the same area. And it's been, I had a June 2013 when the last time I think we talked about it, so it's been too long. And I had to come back to you guys now that they're moving forward, but I had drip line trenches and revegetation on a little bit of the area there.
Super.
So as the notes from back then.
So those just continue? Those will continue to this one too?
Yeah, just, it'll be
Yeah.
the same thing.
Well, it's the same deal, he's just, he waited too long and to do it, so, yeah.
And they haven't expanded any of their other buildings since 1989?
The house and stuff, no, I'd say no. So each structure has its own 30%.
That's why they usually knock down their
Right, I got,
accessory
no, yeah, I got
buildings.
that.
Yeah.
Just getting straight.
Well, yeah, what's your pleasure?
Motion to accept Dan's recommendation.
Which is what we offered back in 2013, good?
I think it's 42 feet from the water.
14 feet from the water, 44? Better, you're close. Drip trenches, revegetation, whatever we had before. Was there a second?
Yeah, Tom.
Tom? Sorry. Can't speak up.
We hear them.
Anything else there? All those in favor, aye? All those opposed, nay? Great. Jesus, who are we to be doing all this good stuff? Well, that means the axe is gonna fall on somebody, but I don't know who that might be. All right. Dale Barrows regarding June 9 referendum. Wait a minute.
Do we have to wait till,
We can't talk about anything that's on a ballot until after 8 o'clock.
It's not on the
I guess
Is it a referendum?
It's on the warrant.
It says referendum here. What is it?
It's a
it's
mystery.
probably my fault, I'm
All
sorry.
right, so it's just a warrant?
Is it just the one?
We're not talking about any secret ballot on the 9th, are we?
No,
It's got the 9th date too.
it's a
It's my
mistake.
fault.
All right, so we're talking about
That-
the little red house on the prairie, correct?
That's why you have.
All right, who's talking? What's up?
Well, I'll start and just shake the context. You probably heard what the selectmen did, but that's neither here nor there. The selectmen, based on the planning board's recommendation,
Oh, that.
removed it from the warrant. So it's not on the warrant, it's not anywhere, and it's too late, okay? Well, it's not too late, but if we abide by everybody's schedule, it's too late. Now, needless to say, we are back. And I'm sorry I didn't raise these issues last time I was here, but I wanted to make sure my facts were correct before I said anything. So I did a little bit of homework last Sunday and uncovered the total record as it exists. And I'm sharing that with you right now, both the written record and the verbal record. Unfortunately, most of you missed the first hearing at the selectmen's meeting that occurred when the lawyer first appeared and actually offered some testimony.
Was that the 17th?
That was the 23rd, and that's the first one that's listed here. This is events with quotations extracted from the tape. Okay, you have before you. And the first meeting that I went through was 4/23/215. I was there. And I thought I remembered this details, but like I said, I didn't want to say a thing because I wasn't sure. Well, let's go through some of these. Attorney Moran is introduced at 4:25 into the tape, and at 4:33, Attorney Moran says, "I haven't looked at the comprehensive plan." At 7:24 into the tape, Attorney Moran says, "There is nothing in here that smacks of any blatant violation of the law." That's, for all intents and purposes, an endorsement that says it's legal in the context of the ordinance power. At 41:29, Attorney Moran says, "I haven't reviewed your comprehensive plan." And as a final note, Attorney Moran promises to look into other concerns I have heard nothing from about his response, okay? And the other concerns are the legal issues that he raised other than concern about the comprehensive plan, which I addressed initially during this meeting with the selectmen and subsequently addressed at the public hearing for your purposes and benefits, all right? He had expressed concern over a variety of things that are in that memo. That was written about 3 or 4 days prior to this public hearing.
17th.
Was it the 17th? Actually, the dates on the opinions are 4/13 and 4/14. There were two written drafts, okay? So, okay, all right.
I mean, the date I saw in the email was 4/17.
I think the date that you saw is the date that Jennifer Root sent it out, okay? But she got these and then she forwarded them to everybody, okay?
4:14.
Okay? And then at 46 minutes into that meeting, Attorney Martin restates that determination of comp plan criteria is the job of the planning board. Okay. Then we go to the actual planning board public hearing, which most of you were at, I believe, okay? There was no new information introduced there. Basically, that was a rehash of the presentation or the discussion I had with Attorney Moran during the meeting with the selectmen, at the selectmen's meeting. And then, of course, we come down here on 5/7, the planning board meeting, and these notes are extracted again from the tape. At 41:21, discussion of the proposed amendment begins. At 59:20, CEO asserts that both town attorneys agree that proposed amendment conflicts with the comp plan. At 4 minutes, 25 seconds, Chairman Bennell asserts that if it is not described in the comp plan, then it doesn't comply. Okay, and then I have a little note there, error, which I'll get to that in a minute. At 1:05:40, discussion about sending it to MMA. At 1:11:02, Chairman Bennell asserts that the selectmen have an opinion from the town's attorney that the proposed ordinance does not meet the comp plan. At 1:13:18, Bob Smith asserts the opinion of the attorneys is that it violates the comp plan. And at 1:18, you folks decide to send it to MMA, okay? So that's the scenario, the evolution and the relevant comments that have evolved as this thing is unwound. Okay, then 5/21:15, planning board meets to consider issues with comp plan. Barrow's petition, and this is again extracted from the tape. At 3:1, Bob raises questions about MMA's comment in there that the planning board does not agree with Attorney Moran's advice and wonders about where that comes from. I guess my concern is what questions are getting asked of MMA. I mean, basically the MMA attorney slapped you guys on the hands and said, talk to your own attorneys. We don't talk to you if you got an opinion from them. Okay, but we'll move on. Okay, we'll move on from that. At 3:40, Chairman Bennell asserts all lawyers agree with Moran's opinion. At 13:48, Chairman Bennell asserts that all 3 lawyers have, quote, weighed in as far as they are concerned, it does not comply. Okay. Going through the written record and the verbal record, there is no place where any of the 3 attorneys assert that it doesn't comply or that it conflicts. There's no place where that assertion is made. Certainly it's suggested that it might be if you look into this or look into that, but that assertion is not made, okay? Secondly, the issue, there's a wording problem here too. The opinion expressed by the planning board is based on interpretation of Moran's opinion written 4/23 meeting, in which Attorney Moran states at least twice that he hadn't even read the comp plan. And finally, the planning board recommendation is to determine that the planning board's job here is not to determine if it complies. Comply is not the right term. The proper term is conflict. And if you go look at all the legal documents here, your job is to determine only if it conflicts with the comprehensive plan. It doesn't have to comply. It doesn't have to further the comprehensive plan. Your job is to determine if it conflicts. Okay? That's all. So that's some summary of where we're at. Now, obviously, let me be real clear about this because I'm in favor of this. I'm an advocate for this. I'm not pretending to be neutral. Okay? Mr. Moran is presenting to be neutral, and I would suggest that his memo certainly is not neutral, but that is as it is. I'm an advocate, I don't have a problem saying that, but that's the facts, and I'm giving them to you so you can check them out for yourself. And, you know, obviously, the petitioner can go a couple of different ways here. From my own perspective, I would like to see this proceed by regular procedure. And by regular procedure, I mean in the manner in which it's intended to. I don't like the notion of going outside and having a separate town meeting any more than I like the notion of having recall. I don't like recall or a recall ordinance because I think we vote for a new man every year. If we don't like him, we can get rid of him, but recall just is better. And so is this procedure potentially. It doesn't have to be there, but it's up to you guys, if you want to figure out how to move it forward. I don't know.
Me neither.
Okay? The selectmen took your recommendation and again used the term, all three lawyers don't comply. All three lawyers don't agree it doesn't comply. Find that someplace where it says it. All right.
The most damning thing it says is Attorney Moore says that there are some problematic areas. That's the term he uses.
And that's a job. That's an attorney's job. When you take, when you go to an attorney, attorneys don't like change. Understand that. And always they don't like change, especially when you're monkeying with something that's not upset or isn't causing a problem. And the reason is because their job in a scenario where you're proposing a change is to anticipate any legal difficulties that are coming along or may result from that work. That's fine, that's what you hire them to do. Okay? So their approach always is going to be to respond in a negative manner, almost always is going to be. In this case, obviously it's an extremely negative memo we have from these with no information from the other side that counterbalances these, which I have made some effort to present to you. The legal issues that were raised in that original meeting must have sunk. I mean, he must have decided that they weren't real issues because, well, for the same reasons I explained to you. He was supposed to come back. He had said in that original meeting he was going to come back with and respond to his concerns. He never did. But, okay. I have gone on long enough. Does anybody have any questions that I can?
Well, to be fair, the selectmen also spent time at their last meeting discussing the insurance issue.
I didn't see that, but I did watch that whole meeting. They made almost as big a point of that as they did of us saying it didn't comply, which is what we said. And so there's two areas that they were looking at as far as redoing this word, or as far as putting the petition forward. So you know, and that came up, if you remember, that came up before. The insurance company would not pay if there's a problem, if there's an accident there, the insurance company won't cover the town because the insurance company feels that to leave it there would be illegal in that it can be moved back on the property, and the town would have to pay out of its own pocket, you guys would have to pay out of your own pockets, if there was a problem down the road for whatever reason or whatever. Okay.
So,
I will tell you that.
I'm just saying, this is what they said, this is what the insurance guy said.
That may be, okay, I don't know. I did watch the tape.
I know, I was there.
Okay, I watched the tape up to the point where they voted on it. And then the speech was made, the issue of insurance was not brought up. That's neither here nor there, okay? From this board's point of view, this board's point of view is to determine if it obstructs the plan.
The petition, because that's all we're looking at, because we've already decided.
I would like,
Building itself.
if the selectmen actually did that, I'd like to see their lawyer put something like that on paper.
Put what?
Never mind, if I have a discussion with the selectmen, I'll have a discussion. Okay, does anybody have any questions from me? I mean, this has been kind of like watching this Remember that game we used to play when we were kids, all a string of kids in a row, and one
Oh.
whispered the story in the
Post
first year, went to
office.
the next, yeah, post office, that was it, okay? And as the story got to the end of the line, you know, it was a whole different story.
Yep.
Okay? And you go through this, and it's kind of like post office.
I guess, Tom, I'm wondering why you're here presenting this. I don't know what you want from us.
I can't tell you what this issue, one way or the other, needs to move forward. I think the selectmen expect it to move forward in one way or another. I would hope that there would be a mechanism, or you would find a mechanism, or maybe create a mechanism within the body that could move the thing forward, okay? I wouldn't propose to you folks how to do that. That's your business, all right? But I do think that there's been an error or a miscarriage here. And I think, in my work, if I do that, I gotta stand up to it. I do stand up to it right off the bat, as quickly as possible, because that's the best way to avoid the consequential damages, okay? And again, going back to the notion of keeping this within regular order, okay? You have to be involved in it in order for it to proceed as regular order. That would be my preference, that it would move forward by regular order. If it can't, okay, then whatever.
When you say regular order, what do you mean?
Well, the regular order is the process we've been involved in that's kind of gotten a little
Oh,
corrupted. But
okay.
regular order is, you know, you.
We just make
planning board-
recommendations. We
Planning
don't
board
put
does its
anything
job, the
on-
selectmen do their
Yes.
job, and then the town meeting does its job. And again, I will reassert what I said a couple weeks ago. You know, the job here in the municipal offices is determined not with legality, not prudence. Prudence is within the realm of the town meeting to decide. And any arguments can be made on the floor of the town meeting, and the town meeting decides, and boom, it's done. But to obstruct it for matters of prudence as opposed to matters of legality, that's turning the law on its head. That's turning home rule on its head.
That may be, but we're not obstructing anything. We didn't knowingly obstruct anything. We're just working on the information we thought we had.
Right, Chip, I understand that, and I'm not trying to put you on the defense. I sent this to you Sunday evening,
I know.
okay, in an effort to get some discussion going, so we didn't have to get to this point, so that, and I have been on the telephone with Tom trying to encourage a little background effort to find a way forward, for you guys to find a way forward, so that I didn't have to be here in this capacity tonight, but that apparently didn't happen for one reason or another. I didn't want it to proceed this way, okay, but it's where it is, so.
Because in our discussion, I said that I could not be a public advocate for this because of my conflict that I described to the board previously. I do have one question, and I don't know if it's proper to ask it or not, but can the device of reconsideration be, the parliamentary device of reconsideration be brought to bear in this case? I'm asking this.
Oh, I don't know what your rules are, in
parliamentary
procedure, yes, but it would have to be raised for reconsideration by somebody who had voted with majority before.
Which,
Yeah.
What is the
I think
time
everybody
span of
did.
that?
There is none. There is none that I'm aware of. There isn't anyone in the moderator's manual. Well, no, maybe, no, I wouldn't see any reason why there would be a.
Well, here's the thing. If somebody decided that they wanted to reconsider this, then we'd all have to take the comp plan and make sure that there's nothing about this that
Obstructs.
obstructs
Or frustrates the purpose.
or frustrates, or whatever the term is gonna be, the comp plan. Now, does everybody have the comp plan with them tonight to do this? Because I'm not taking it on faith. I mean, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right, and that means that we pick and pull. That's it.
So you're asking
If that's
that we
what-
do this tonight, look at this?
Well, if you don't do it tonight, it doesn't get done before town meeting.
It doesn't matter whether it gets done before town meeting or not, because the warrant's been posted.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't have to be posted, it has been posted.
Well, then it looks futile to me, because it would still have to come on, by a petition, I would think.
What would have to come by petition?
Well,
Well, that's the weird thing.
well, here's the deal, we've already settled this once, with a vote. There's room on the property to put this building, that's it, we're done.
Okay.
There's nothing else we need to do. If there's no petition, we don't have to reconsider a damn thing. We're done.
Petitions don't die when they don't go on the ballot. They get tabled. They remain.
Well, then it's,
In-
if it's brought back to us, fine. I mean, as far as I know, it's been settled by the selectmen, it's not on the warrant. I don't, are we being, not enticed, are we being asked to reconsider this? You gave us a bunch of information, but is somebody officially asking us to reconsider our opinion on the compliance with the comp plan as per the petition? Otherwise, if you're asking about where this place should be, we told you where it should be, in the field. 75 feet from here, 75 feet from here. Done. Because our job is to make, we've got rules and regulations and ordinances. We try to make things as compliant as we can. We do best possible locations when we don't have, when the property owner doesn't have the room to put the building legally within legal setbacks. This piece of property has the room to put this building legally where it should be, being as it's been damaged more than 50% of its valuation. So, unless we're being petitioned to review our recommendation on the original petition, I don't know what there is that we're gonna do.
The process that we're involved in here is very different from the process of coming in and asking for permission to rebuild it and have to remove it. This is a petition that's been placed before you. Part of the process of moving that petition to the floor of the town meeting involves the planning board looking at it and determining that it does not conflict with the comp plan. That's the only thing I'm interested in looking at and talking about here.
All right.
Okay? And I'm hopefully, well, as I have said several times now, and I hate to repeat myself, I don't like going outside of regular order because I think that diminishes this body, and I'm not interested in doing that if it's avoidable. Okay? And I am not about to sit here and suggest to you how you respond to this, okay? Because I'm not a member of the committee, and I shouldn't be telling you how to do your business, okay? This is why I brought it to you last Sunday to give it some thought, okay? Before I start. Okay? You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'm gonna, unless anybody else has.
Then it's up to the committee, you know, what do you guys wanna do?
Obviously, well, I wouldn't think you could go through the whole thing tonight and make a decision, but that's
Well,
up to you.
no, I don't think we could.
And there may be other people here who are interested in saying something too.
And we couldn't get it on the, it wouldn't get on the warrant for next Saturday anyway. So,
That's right.
and I don't know if stuff can be brought up on the floor of the town meeting.
This couldn't be.
No, so it would have to be, you know, whatever.
A special time.
There has to be a special town meeting.
Special town
There has to be a
meeting.
special town meeting one way
I'd
or
rather
another.
have it be one that the town started versus
Right.
forced into.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I would rather it proceed through regular
Yeah.
order and be presented. There's one other little complication in this. This was drafted to go to the floor of the annual town meeting, and it actually says that in here. I doubt that would cause a problem moving it forward to a special town meeting, but that potential exists too, okay? So, you know, we're at where we're at, and I would just like this body to acknowledge the fact that here's what the scenario is, and anything you can do to make that right, okay? To preserve the integrity of both this board and the process. And if that can't happen, then the petitioner will probably do what she has to do. But again, that's outside of regular order, and I think that is, is...
Well, yeah, but it's the process, it's not, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, I recognize
And
it's
it's
the process.
legitimate.
Oh, yeah, no
So-
question it's legitimate,
so,
no question.
you know-
And that may have to happen in any case, okay? I don't know yet, all right?
Yeah.
But, anybody else have a question? No? Okay. Others may wish to say something, I don't know if they do or not, but thank you, Chip.
Sure. It's our pleasure, as always.
When are you gonna try to get rid of me?
I don't know. Did you wish to say something?
Yes, number one, I'd like to thank Tom Bohr for speaking on my behalf, again, for my Little Red Schoolhouse. And obviously, I've been very frustrated with the whole process, and to, receive the email that highlighted the excerpts that the attorney had not actually read the comp plan, again, inflates that frustration even more. And I really feel that if I'm not conflicting with the comp plan, I feel I should be granted to go forward, to go ahead and repair my schoolhouse right where it sits. I don't know if there's any special exception that you could give me a conditional use permit.
Well, there's nothing we can do for that. I mean, you've got room on your property to make this building legal, and that's what we have to do, and that's what we did a couple of months ago. That's all we can do for you, as far as that process goes. If we want to revisit all this information we've been given about who read what, when, so on and so forth, then if that's what the board wants to do, then that's what we can do. But that's going to take a little bit of time. And I would think that, I would also like to get a hold of the lawyer Moran and find out exactly what he meant when he said he hadn't read the comp plan. Did he mean he had not read the whole thing? Or just, had he looked at the section about historical? I mean, he brought up a couple of areas, so he must have been aware of some of the things in the comp plan. So, if we're gonna revisit this, we're gonna revisit everything.
Okay, that's fair.
Would be my hope anyway.
Okay.
And that's, so there we are.
Okay.
Thank you. So, what do you guys want to do? All right then.
That's just me.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's, the building, we dealt with this once, as far as the ordinance goes, and looking at petitions and this, that, and the next thing is, well, I guess it's in our, it can be in our bailiwick, but it's not something we're going to be able to decide tonight, because I would, want as much more information as we could get. And then, all of us go through the comp plan, and there's a couple of sections that deal with historical buildings and whatnot, and see exactly, how this would line up with that stuff. And speaking just for myself, as far as I'm concerned, we've dealt with this. And if we made mistakes in the petition process, then, we made mistakes, and we'll see in Superior Court. But I'll be out of town, so sorry. Yoli! Wait, you gotta put that kid in bed, don't you?
That's right. I don't know, how about if we were to just, kind of digest it a little bit on our own and then maybe.
Talk about it next time?
Yeah.
Fine. Anybody who wants to go over this stuff on your own between now and the next meeting, and we'll throw it on the agenda at the next meeting.
Would that be assuming we have more actual information from the attorney?
Well,
Or at least
I'll see what I can get. Now, let's not hold our breath, because it's not as easy as it used to be. I'll see what I can do to get more information out of the town attorney, something we can add to the mix. And if we get something before the next meeting, then you guys, if we get something, you guys will get it as soon as it comes in, all right? Robin?
How's it going? I was at the select meeting last week, but same place you was. I spoke to two of the selectmen after that meeting, and they said we would have to bring it back to you people and change a few words in the comprehensive plan to make it work. And that's exactly what they said, and they would have no problem signing off it once, whatever words that you people would.
Oh, they didn't tell you what the words were?
No, that's your job. They said it was your job to make that words to make that fit, because everybody realized we have several houses in the town of Acton that don't meet the setbacks or whatever. This ordinance was made back in the 70s, not realizing, oh, wait a minute, we made an ordinance, now we gotta correct that ordinance to try to help the people deal with the problems that this lady has come up with. So, this don't happen to somebody else. That's all we're trying to do, is so this don't happen to somebody else to go through this, nobody, you guys wasn't here when they made that ordinance, and, I'm not pointing fingers at nobody back then either, but I don't think they took it into consideration back then and said, wait a minute, you don't think of everything. When you make an ordinance, you can't think of every little thing. It changes. As time goes on, as world builds together, things change. Oh, wait a minute, it's right, we didn't think of that. So, still be in the same law, but there's a way to get around and still be in the same law. And I think this is the problem when the ordinance was made. Oh yeah, we didn't think of that. Now, the thing has come up, now we're all thinking of it. So let's all make it right for everybody from this point on. And if something else comes down the line, this is the government process, You don't make law and then, oh shit, we didn't think of that. And then you make it so it's better, as far as I'm concerned. You can't think of everything when you make an ordinance and still, I don't know the word for it, but.
Well, actually, though, they did take into account places that might not comply. We did two best possible locations tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is, the trailer that burnt,
Mm-hmm.
they need to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
Their lot is in an area where they could not put a brand-new trailer if there was nothing there. If that was an empty lot and they wanted to put a trailer, they could not do it legally. But because they had a trailer there and it was damaged more than 50% of valuation, the planning board, through this, gets to look at the situation and say, hey, is there some way we can make an accommodation? It's all written right in here. So it is addressed in the ordinance for a situation. Let's say we've got a house that's 35 feet from the road here, and now the setback is 50 feet, and it burns down, and they've got a big hill behind them. We're not gonna make them push their house back behind the hill. We're not gonna do all that. We have the opportunity in the ordinance to decide where is the best place for this house that does not comply with the ordinance. Now, the problem with the Little Red House on the Prairie is there is room on the property to legally site the building. If there's room on the property to legally site it, we're done. That's what has to be done. So it's addressed. A non-conforming structure is addressed in the ordinance.
Okay.
And we can't make exceptions for people because they don't want, I'm not saying them, I'm saying anybody, because they don't want to follow the rules if they can follow the rules. That's up to the Board of Appeals if they want to do something else or if they can't.
Okay, let me ask a question. The old stone wall that's there, if she wanted to put them stone walls back that the town has taken, does she have the legal right to do that? Because back about 15 years ago, I know there used to be a 10-foot or 15-foot dirt area in front of that building. The town has creeped onto her property. So is there a legal way that we wanted to put that stone wall back there and get her property back where it belongs? Can she do that?
This guy, and
I'm just asking a question.
I'm just telling you my answer.
Yeah.
Code enforcement and/or the selectmen would be the people that would know about that.
So, yeah, it's, you know, it's good for the town to take her property to make it so people don't dig up the road, you know, the side of the road and all that stuff. Now she's just asking one time to the town to help her re-side the building.
We don't have the, we can't legally allow her to fix it right where it's at if the building can be made, can be made to meet its setbacks.
Okay.
So there's nothing we can do. That's why we voted to put it back where.
Okay, the statement that you made earlier, it was 50% more than
assessed valuation.
Assessed valuation. What's the assessed valuation on that building? You have any idea?
Nope.
I thought it was like 12,000, 15,000.
Okay, what is the number that you guys working with that says the repair is over that? You know, the estimate that she got earlier was probably totally way out of ballpark, because somebody was trying to make some extra dollars there.
I don't know about that. All I know is we heard a great large figure.
Yes.
But then we also either decided or realized that it was going to be more than 50% of the assessed valuation to repair the damage that needed to be repaired.
To what standards? To back then standards or today's standards?
It would have to be built to what today's standards would be.
And a building that's non-occupied, never will be occupied, is still the same thing?
That would be code enforcement again.
Right, I'm just throwing out, so we have questions, I have questions myself that I would like to be answered, and I'm just throwing them out there right this minute.
Well,
If she got an estimate that was frivolous, then she shouldn't have brought it forward. If it was somebody trying to make a killing.
Well, she didn't realize that.
Well,
I believe there was a
that's-
second estimate that was right in line with it, is what I was told. I had two estimates.
Okay?
I mean, we can only use the information that we're given.
Yep.
And
Right, and I understand that, you know, absolutely, you go by what the information you got, but I just still think that building can be repaired for a lot cheaper than $12,000 or $6,000. All she wants to do is put a few clapboards on and put the foundation back on, put the building back on some type of foundation, the rocks are still there, just jack it up, put it back, set it down, replace a couple of 2x4s, and call it good. She just wants it, the front to look, and a few clapboards. You know, we're not looking for a Tosme Hall, we're not looking for, you know,
well, see, this is all coming after the fact to us, so.
because we didn't understand, I didn't understand
And
how the
there's
thing
nothing-
works.
So there's nothing we can do now. We've made a decision,
Okay.
unless we get some legitimate information, exactly what's gonna be done, a real plan, doesn't meet whatever code it needs to meet, maybe we can revisit it. But right now, we're dealing with the information we were given by the owner,
Yep.
and, you know, if that's not correct, that's not our fault.
Right, we're not pointing any fingers, we're definitely not pointing fingers. We just want to make sure it's looked at all angles and,
We've done that.
well, the lawyers said they did it, but they didn't.
Well,
So, you know, that's my argument.
all right.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you, Robin.
Just Chip, could I just, and I just raise this out of it?
You were done?
Just 1 minute, I'm all done. There is in fact a way in which this could be dealt with at the.
We did do it.
No, at the annual town meeting, okay? And that would be two different ways. Actually, you could have a call for a second town meeting on the same day, or you could amend the warrant. The selectmen, or the selectmen can still do that, that's all.
Oh, well, then you're talking to the wrong people, buddy.
Well, no, because you gotta start with an opinion down here, but
Right.
that's okay.
I don't know that we can get anything to them in time to,
No, you probably can't. I'm just pointing out the technicalities of it. It could be done. It depends on the willingness and others to participate in the process, but that's why I'm here, you know, just so we do it by regular order, if possible. That's all. Okay?
yeah. Well, I would suggest you give the selectmen the information you gave us between now and next Saturday, see what happens.
The information that I would give the selectmen before you folks did anything would be totally irrelevant because they are.
But they could do something on their own. They could decide that we didn't have the right information. They could do anything they want. Come on, who told me that Sunday?
Probably.
All right, so.
Thank you.
Thank you all. So we're gonna ponder this and we'll discuss it at the next meeting, which is whenever that is.
Chip will be in Florida.
As a matter of fact, but it's the way it goes. All right, so is there anything else? What?
I don't know, there's no one on here, it's this time. It's after 8 o'clock.
Yes, Tom's time is after 8 o'clock. I haven't given up thinking about the zoning ordinance, and I invite you to join me in some more thinking.
Well, not, if a change is made to something that was in shoreland zone.
Wait a minute, who's talking?
I thought you were done. No. Jesus, you said we were gonna discuss it. If a variance is changed, that was in shoreline, it has to go to the DEP.
I'm sorry I got him so riled up, Tom.
Good job. That's what
He's right off the wall. Sorry, Chip. I hope you have a good night's sleep tonight.
I'll sleep like a baby. Any What, you would stop?
We were, I was trying to take a breath, I was inhaling. Now I'm gonna exhale.
Too long.
And I'm going to ask the board members if they could please to dredge up the little item I shared with them a number of weeks ago entitled item number 1, of which there are 4 items.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can hear a baby crying for her mom.
Yeah, that's right.
How far back is it?
Oh,
It's this one.
It's like that.
Stapled together?
Yeah, you got it.
Just to start with maybe the item number 3, the order, so to speak. I was thinking more about on the warrant now, it's called Article 3 instead of question 1 on the warrant.
On the ballot?
On the ballot, yeah. And if the case arises, and Bob, well, I think you were the first one to raise this question at one of the very first meetings where we met with the selectmen on the 19th of March or something. If the case arises that question 1 or Article 3 and question 3 or Article 5 are both receive a yes vote, we go on to the operating principle in our zoning ordinance on page 7 on 1.6. If I can read to you the second sentence there of that piece of the ordinance. Whenever a resource protection district or shoreline district provision of this ordinance conflicts with or is inconsistent with another provision of this ordinance or of any other ordinance, regulation, or statute administered by the municipality, the more restrictive provisions shall control. The case that could arise is that both I'll just to avoid confusion here. Question 1 and question 3 could be approved. I think I can't imagine what a voter is going to be thinking when they enter the voting booth and look at these 3 items if they have had no preceding knowledge of the discussion that has gone on. But be that as it may, the crux of question 1 is that the regulations that are currently in place in resource protection district outside of the shoreline zone are omitted. It's a deregulatory process, much less stringent process than would be previously in existing. In question 3, the situation is the planning board proposal there is merely it's the implementation of the conditional use process for the same areas. It is more stringent, obviously, because it is even though it's a tempering of what is existing, it is certainly more stringent than the omission of the regulation that we're dealing with. So my question to you is, how would the board or a lawyer or this board feel about the notion of the sensibility of Article 1.6 when applied to that situation? And what I'm hoping to get you thinking about is, if that case arises, would you consider recommending to the selectmen that we have a certain line of thinking, that we've looked at this issue, and that we feel strongly that question 3 should prevail if both questions are supported by the voters.
They're gonna take a lawyer. They're
They're
gonna need a lawyer's opinion.
cross purposes to one another.
That's
obviously.
right.
And I'm, through the lens of Article 1.6, I would think quite clearly the planning board article would prevail. But I was hoping that the board members would give some thought to this and maybe make a recommendation at our next meeting as to what we felt the proper course of action, or hope that the proper course of action might be. That's point one. Point two is, in the question 2 of the selectmen's proposal again, in which under part B, as we're all familiar by now, the language was amended there such that the word, and we can look quickly on item in the same packet, item 2, we can look and see that on E2, the word undeveloped was omitted in the selectmen's proposal. If that provision is approved by the voters, I would recommend strongly that the board members prevail upon the selectmen to stick to their word, as they stated several times in hearings with us, that we only want to roll it back to state standards. State standards, in this case, is the use of the word undeveloped. And I think we would be opening up a huge can of worms if the selectmen were to get a notion that they could go to the DEP and ask for the full carte blanche implementation of this and have it also eligible for developed properties. Undeveloped is one thing, where you have the issues of use of land or takings or whatever might be a more ripe issue on an undeveloped lot. But on a developed lot, you already have some development there. The applicant or landowner already has some utility out of the ownership. And I think not only in the practical sense of what the impact would be upon the resource, but I think very realistically we ought to look at this in terms of the burden that this is going to put on the Code Enforcement Office and ourselves if we have a whole new range of best possible locations that become eligible for review. The undeveloped lots are finite, more or less. The developed lots would certainly, and Kenny, I think you could corroborate this or shoot it down one way or another, but I think you could give us a sense whether the numbers of lots certainly would be much larger, would they not, in the developed category in that?
Yeah, and that was the problem child to begin with. So I talked to the DEP with the word developed being in or out. They were comfortable with it being out because of the conditions set forward, that they'd have to apply the A, C, and D going through conditional use through the planning board. So at the time, the DEP was comfortable with that word being out.
But you see my problem, that I'm...
Developed, undeveloped, it's 1,500 square feet is all they can, at the end of the day, is all they get. So if they have a 1,400 square foot home, they get a 100-foot shed.
Yeah, but what I'm concerned about here is that the powers that be might take this up to the DEP, and I don't know how the DEP works with something where they're actually being asked by a municipality to rule outside of state statutes, which is what would be the case. I don't see how on earth that could be.
They said they'd approve the ordinance as written if it did pass, with the word developed not in it, or undeveloped.
And that's a problem to me. That's a problem in a lot of different ways. Number one, it's contrary to state statutes. So somehow or other, the DEP is operating...
Those are guidelines.
verbiage of the special exception is a guideline?
All the shoreline zoning is guidelines that we have to adopt and put into the ordinance. And they look at, when we adopt it, they look at the, if we've met the intent of the guidelines or the verbiage comfortably enough so they either approve it or they don't approve it or they approve it with a condition.
Yes, but the rulemaking process that gave rise to the special exception language was a pretty rigorous process, and for the town to be given carte blanche permission to make this applicable now to develop lots is not a good situation. If the DEP can circumvent its own rules, which would be what would be occurring here, Acton, Maine, and a lot of other municipalities are going to come up on the short end of the stick in terms of resource protection.
Well, by our next meeting, we'll know whether we have to deal with it or not.
Okay, but I'm suggesting to the board members that they develop some thinking on this and have hoping that they come to an understanding of the importance of this and not let this open up a whole new area of permissive regulation that ought not to ever see the light of day.
My theory on your question 1 and 3 both being passed, that section in the ordinance would be something in the ordinance. Question 1 is going to remove that out of the ordinance, so really all you'd have is question 3 to interpret.
They would both exist at the same time.
At the
end of that meeting,
your resource protection in the shoreline zone would be the only thing that's there. Your resource protection out of the shoreline zone would be gone. So 3 would be the only thing you're looking at.
What if 2 and 3 were both adopted?
That would be fun.
1, 2, and 3.
Then I was thinking of long.
I'm voting for all 3.
Tom, it seems to me that 2 and 3 would be more in conflict with each other if you had both of those in place.
Well, 1 would be in the shoreline and 1 would be out of the shoreline. Well, 1 is in and out and 1 is just out, so you wouldn't even need number 3 if number 2 passed.
But number 2 kind of encapsulates number 3.
But number 3 would be more
I see
restrictive.
that.
Yes.
So 3 would be the one that prevails, right?
that's my contention, yeah.
That's what we're talking about, yeah, it's interesting.
Merely by changing, if you carried the logic of this to its end point, and you had a proposal, the problem arises from the simultaneous appearance of these two items. If question 3 was not there, question 1 was there and approved by the voters, I have no problem with what would happen then. I mean, I have no logical inconsistency arises there. But the problem arises when you have two conflicting, they both deal with the same area, because one is omitting that regulation of that area, and the other is amending it. They're both amendments, but you see what the point I'm trying to say. One is deregulating it entirely by changing the definition of resource protection, and the other, question 3, is merely tempering its impact. Whatever. I'm not getting the right wording there.
Well, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
That's what it's doing.
So I don't
You've
need to
got
read
your
this
marching
back.
orders, everybody.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you in that regardless of what we decide, irregardless, I guess, of what happens in the election, it's a legal opinion that somebody's gonna have to make.
It's a legal opinion,
Which one
but-
is going to be, take precedent.
But this is kind of stemming from the obligation that I see we have as planning board members. We're supposedly acting as advocates for the town on behalf of its resources and upholding its landscape and its structures in a way that enhances the value of the town.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, making a statement that this first, before we even go further, we have to come up with somebody saying to us, well, legally, this is how it is.
I would just say that we have an obligation to the townspeople by our familiarity with this stuff we deal with every 2 weeks here, and our commitment that brings us here, to express an opinion now and again in the public realm as to what ought to be done.
Right, we can certainly do that. You guys can do anything you want. But the selectmen are gonna...
To continually, you know, and this board has been undercut, in my perception recently, by this whole land use attorney expedition that's been going on. We were never consulted as to the sensibility of that. When we used to hire, what was his name? From Kennybunk. Durwood. It was a straightforward request up to the select board. We have a legal problem here. We need it worked out. Can we call Durwood? And Kenny would call Durwood, and he would come in and chat with us, and we'd resolve the issue. Here, now, the problems are apparently heard upstairs first, solved upstairs, and the solution is brought down here. This has been turned on its head. I don't know if everybody understands that, but that's what's been...
Well, it's gonna happen with this. Depending on how the vote turns
It
out
needn't
next...
happen with this, because we can express an opinion at our next meeting as to what we think ought to happen.
Right, but it's only an opinion. And because
That's
the
true.
selectmen have 2 articles on here that kind of fly in the face of ours, you ought to have an idea where they're gonna stand on this. And each one of us can give them our opinion, and they're gonna say, fine, we're gonna get, the lawyer says which one of these is the one that takes precedence, that's what we're doing. And that's where we're at. So, ponder it, come up with your opinion you wanna give them, but that's what it is, it's an opinion.
Absolutely.
Unless you make...
In the absence of that, though, they're operating totally within the realm of their own discretion, which, in my experience, recently has not been too sound.
Well, there again, because, you know, not everybody's gonna agree with everything that everyone else does.
Right.
So,
It's a procedural
it's,
issue.
you may not agree with it, but there may be people that do. So, there we are. So, you've got your marching orders. We're pondering the Little Red House on the Prairie, and you're pondering some kind of an opinion to give the selectmen after the town meeting.
And what are we pondering about the DEP?
Nothing, after
No, I'm hoping that we think of the request that we would make of the selectmen in the event that item is passed. Because I think you know, you all recall, that Ted has said on a number of occasions, we merely want to roll this back to state statute. State statute says undeveloped, not developed. It's a clear point, it's not.
Then the DEP also said...
The DEP can say,
Well, they're the ones that review
I don't...
our ordinance if we make changes in shoreline,
But
so...
for the DEP to amend the will of the people of the town of Acton, or this board, given that we have a certain understanding of the language in this thing by which we operate under, is improper. I can't say anything more about it.
Well, oh, you're done? Good night, everybody, good night, Cable Light, we'll see you.